Welcome to the Magic of You on 105.9 Seaside FM.
Good morning and welcome to the Magic of You for the 10th day of May. I'm Krista Cook and I'm here with my co-host Holly Poole. Good morning, Holly.
Good morning.
Today in our studio we have Anita Baker. Now our subject today is very interesting. It is tuning fork therapy. Good morning, Anita. Thank you very much for coming in.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
It's going to be a lot of questions because this is one of those topics a lot of people I don't think know much about. And I do want to mention that in front of me is a beautiful set of tuning forks. We'll take a picture and we'll put that up. So we are going to have the pleasure of sort of feeling the vibrations but we will not be putting it up to the mic for obvious reasons. So let's start with the basics. What is tuning fork therapy?
Well, initially, tuning forks were invented in 1711 by a musician. They were used to tune musical instruments.
Oh, okay. That's why Wayne said he remembers seeing these in school.
And that's exactly what they look like. Normal tuning forks, exactly. As Anita said, used specifically just for musical instruments. So what do you use them for, Anita?
Well, you can see the smaller ones here. Those ones I use for just basically to put your body back into balance if you're literally out of tune.
So we go back to our chakras, for instance.
Which we talked about last week, yeah.
Our 7 chakras, and what Anita has the ability to do is using the tuning fork is able to help each of those chakras, correct?
Right. It'll put your chakras back into harmonic balance.
Okay, so it gets them back into balance. So if someone knows, for instance, that they have a blocked chakra, then they would be able to come see you and you would be able to look after it. How long is a session?
Depending on what your illness,
course.
or if you're just coming in just to get balance.
What I would like to say just before we get going in questions, because I think testimonials are so very powerful, I just want to give you a sense of what some folks have said about tuning fork therapy. This is by Catherine R. I had tuning fork therapy done because I had a lump in my breast that I was concerned with, and after only 2 short sessions, it totally disappeared. That was 3 years ago and no reoccurrence. So that was Catherine R. We have Steve B. I have suffered with excruciating lower back pain for about 15 years. Since the tuning fork therapy, I am virtually pain-free. This was 3 years ago. How about Aaron B.? After having 1 tuning fork session, I no longer have debilitating migraines. It has been 4 years since my treatment. I mean, for folks to have their lives changed physically for the better, I mean, there's no price you can put on that.
And I just think about those headaches, for instance, just thinking about that. And migraine headaches, I think he had commented.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
I mean, migraines are extremely debilitating.
And very common. So what would be, for example, I came to you and said, I have a history of migraines, very interested in you helping me. What would be the next step? We would just talk about my condition?
Right. And then I would just use a certain tuning fork for that. I usually go through all of them.
Okay.
Unless I'm just doing it just particularly for chakras.
Oh, okay.
So if I was doing your root chakra, I would use the low C.
And that's something else we'll explain. There's different heights and, of course, different notes with the tuning fork. So that being said, different notes help different conditions and different chakras, correct? Okay.
And when we talk about notes, we're talking about the physical musical note, correct? Is that correct?
Yes.
And what ends up happening, like, for instance, can you make one of those and put the vibration on my skin?
Sure.
I'd really like to feel that. So there's, for lack of a better word, like a rubber cork.
Mallet. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then she picks up, what's this called?
Those are the prongs.
Those are the prongs. Okay.
And so just the handle. So I'll use the base of the handle.
Okay.
Say if you had broken your wrist, say.
I actually did.
Okay. See, I'm good.
You are good.
Intuition kicking in right away. Let's hope that's not a forerunner, though.
I can actually heal your muscles, your tissue, cells.
That's amazing, because they want to do additional surgery, and so I should really come for a session and just save myself all of that, because nobody wants to go back into a cast for 8 weeks.
No. it's worth a try.
It is. I have to tell you,
work,
the feel of it is very relaxing. It's very gentle. The vibrations are very quick. Mm-hmm. How else would I describe it?
Well, I think the other thing, just for maybe listeners who may not be aware, we'll talk about just the meridians within the body. And if we think about a guitar, for instance, a guitar has strings up and down, right? And sometimes when we have a broken wrist or leg or hip or whatever it may be, those strings from the guitar comes down and sort of has a bit of a bump into it. So what Anita does with the tuning forks is put the bump back into as like a straight line.
Okay.
That's sort of an analogy. Would you agree with that, Anita? Sorry, is that what you would think?
I would think so, yeah.
Now, how are we affected by noise? I mean, obviously, noise can be music to some, so we can enjoy it, but how are we affected by noise?
Well, you know that when you're listening, say, for example, heavy metal.
Yes.
My son plays guitar, so I'm
okay,
around
you're
that a lot.
used to that.
It gets a little stressful at times, but he's really good at what he does. So compare that to, say, if you were at a beach and listening to the waves.
There's no comparison.
There isn't. It's just so relaxing, so it totally
and of course,
and balances.
Think about all the relaxation CDs out there. Waves are in every one of those. Mm-hmm. Just so, I love it.
I know we sold our swimming pool last year, and one of the reasons why we sold it was because when the pump is on, it's just the noise, it just found it really stressful. So I would literally unplug it when I went outside, so I didn't have to listen to it.
Okay. And
because it affects things other than our ears, right? Like, what else does it affect? Our chakras? Does it affect our...
It causes your body to release stress hormones, such as adrenaline and cortisol.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It affects your cells.
It impacts our brain chemicals.
Right.
So I often think about sometimes, some rap music that may be on today, and not that I'm putting down rap music at all, but I'm thinking...
I agree, though.
But I think about perhaps some of the words that go along with it, because it's not just the music either.
That's true, because that's being put into your brain.
Exactly, yeah. And it's the
negative
subconscious.
Things, like negative, yeah.
So that's why if you listen to music that you find relaxing, that's why you relax.
Right.
And the interesting thing, there's a thing called Kirlian photography. We talked about it last week. They did some photos, for instance, of plants putting on, difficult music or hard rock music versus soft listening music.
I've heard that before, too.
And the vibration of the leaf. So if it works on a leaf, it would also work on a body.
Well, I know researchers found that in patients that had brain injuries or Alzheimer's, schizophrenia, they found that just listening to relaxing music, that their cerebellums, the part of the brain contains your brain neurons, were 5% larger in expert male musicians.
Wow.
So they used it in healing.
Mm-hmm. It makes such sense, but I guess it's not something that we've really been exposed to in any way. I mean, this is my first time I've seen tuning forks.
Yeah, I'm not aware of anybody around the area who does
that does tuning fork therapy. How did you stumble? I
did stumble.
You did stumble?
Well, that was a good word. Here we go with the psychic on Krista side.
How did you stumble across this?
I just like to stick to alternative therapies.
Wonderful. That's what our show is all about.
So actually, I just found it on the internet. I found a school who taught it on the internet.
And we should say you have other strengths as well. You're also a Reiki master.
Right.
You're a meditation teacher. You're a master esthetician. Now, that word's always interesting. And a master hairstylist to put on top of it. So you certainly have redefined...
Yet,
No, we never are. Don't ever stop.
No.
There is no limit. Can I ask, how would these work on cancer?
Okay. Well, they all have vibrational frequencies. Mm-hmm. And they can literally zap a cancer cell.
That is so amazing. I mean,
so I would use the end of it.
It just leaves me thinking. I mean, let's face it, breast cancer.
And I said they can, right? They may.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for breast cancer, it's for any woman that is listening, for heaven's sakes, it is so worth the try before you find yourself in having to take radiation or chemo.
I have done, I've used them before on a lady who had a brain tumor, and she was taking radiation as well.
Oh.
But it's gone.
It is gone.
Right.
You know, I was at a show one time by Deepak Chopra.
Oh, I love him.
Isn't he wonderful? He has some wonderful books and works. But he talked about cancer cells. And he said cancer cells are cells that have forgotten their purpose.
Really?
So it makes sense when you think about tuning forks. The tuning forks, perhaps, re-energizes the memory of the proper cell. You know, what am I supposed to be doing here? I'm supposed to be dividing properly is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
Not incorrectly.
Have to get it moving.
Yeah. So when you bring it back to the basics, it does make a lot more sense.
Well, and typically what we're finding about this modality and others is it is reaffirmed by science. Mm-hmm. And for those people that might not give it the benefit of the doubt, you have to keep your mind open, because honestly, I'm sure one of the things that we've talked about has changed at least someone for every show.
Well, I come back and go, what do you have to lose?
Exactly.
So that's the key.
Right.
That's
worth
the question.
Try.
Yes.
And especially if you've tried every other thing.
Exactly. And we have had people where they have tried everything medically, but they've come across an alternative option on one of our shows. And I remember a lady with color therapy. I mean, it was a very simple thing, but it was something that could literally change her life medically that none of the doctors were helping her with.
I know I have a friend who's paraplegic, and I told him I'm going to use him as my guinea pig. So have done 3 sessions with him so far, and on the second session, he was in a car accident, I should say, over 20 years ago. Anyway, I was using the tuning forks on his spine injury, and he could literally feel burning sensation in his feet.
Wow.
So I always get the chills when I say that, because it's really exciting.
And one of the things we have to remember is every illness has 4 parts to it. It's the physical. So we do need our medical system, of course, to look after the physical.
Right. Yep.
But somebody needs to look after the spiritual, the emotional, and the mental.
Yeah, you need it all.
That's right. It needs to be complementary with our everyday
and I think that's
medical
been
field.
The big lacking over the time to now. I mean, people it's pharmaceuticals.
They have
if
their
you
place.
need
They
them,
do. Yes, absolutely.
and they have their place. But by all means, with just taking some, doing a little research or taking the time to try out something, you may be very, very surprised. We are going to take a break, but we will be back in just a moment.
This is the magic of you on 105.9 Seaside FM.
Welcome back to the last half of the Magic of You for the 10th day of May. We have the privilege of having Anita Baker in studio with us, and we've been talking about tuning fork therapy. Now, we've talked about how we're affected by noise. We discussed how it can impact our brain chemicals. Can you list some reasons? Why would someone come for a tuning fork session? Just to sort of give folks the range of so many different things.
Well, they could come just to get balanced.
Okay, your chakras are get them
if you're
balanced.
Out of balance. If you're just feeling off.
Feeling off is, I think we can relate to that.
Yeah. And I think feeling off is sometimes an indication your chakras are out of balance, don't you think?
For sure. And also, for actually virtually any disease or illness you can imagine, from cancer to back pain.
Well, I actually, as you lead into that was a good segue. I love this testimonial because she admits she was a complete skeptic before coming to you. So I have to tell you about this one. This is from Agnes H. I have to say that I was a total skeptic when it came to holistic therapies, but no more. After dealing with painful mastitis for over 30 years, I am now symptom-free after the tuning fork therapy treatment. That is a very powerful statement.
That's like a lot of lumps in your breasts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for anyone, babies and breastfeeding, I know that's another time it can happen and be very painful. But I mean, so you take somebody who just totally has no belief in this, but finds themselves pain-free after 30 years.
I know. I love it because most people who do come in are skeptical. And I still get amazed myself by a lot of the results that I have. Mm-hmm. So it's really exciting.
Oh my gosh.
And I think it's important to have a healthy skepticism.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you?
Oh yeah.
You know, don't go believing everything you're told, but try it out.
Yes.
And it's worth a try.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I never have anything to lose.
Exactly. Now, can you let me know, are there any events coming up?
Yeah, in July, I'm planning a holistic spiritual awakening weekend.
Ooh, where's that going to be?
It's a new resort in Jador called Sea Rover Resort and Marina.
Ooh,
and
lovely place to have it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's beautiful there. It just opened last year. So far, I'm planning on having, obviously, tuning forks.
Yeah.
Sound healing, Reiki, meditation, yoga classes, and you can either spend the night. They have a package deal. You can spend the night, like 2 nights, which includes, your dinner and breakfast, or you can drop in and just pay an entry fee.
Okay, now for all the ladies out there that want to go away for a girls' weekend, that would be a really nice destination.
Yeah.
Anita, can we have your contact information? Firstly, do you have a website?
Sure, I do. theloftsalon.ca.
And a email address?
ACB, not ABC. People usually get that mixed up. So it's acb@eastlink.ca.
And a telephone number, please?
902-889-3112.
Now, of course, we have some more questions, but I just want to make sure that people get that contact information, and we'll repeat it again at the end of the show. Do you think tuning forks bring you to a higher level of spirituality?
Yeah, I definitely believe that they do. Some clients that I had done who are really in tune with their spirituality saw many different colors, like beautiful, bright colors. And also, I had a couple people who had told me that they had spirit guides come to them during their treatment as well. So that was pretty cool.
That is.
Well, I would think what's happening is everything is going back into alignment.
Right, and you're opening up your chakras.
Your crown chakra, which gives you the connection to the divine or God or universal being, whatever one's belief system may be.
And during a treatment, I always do the chakras first. So they're balanced at the very beginning, and then I'll work
sort of like a clean slate before you start. I understand a session is dependent on what the physical issue you may be dealing with, but can you give us sort of an average?
Usually around an hour to an hour and a half.
Okay, all right. So, invest the time for an hour and a half.
It's really relaxing as well.
Well, it certainly sounds. I mean, just to have that one example on my wrist, that is very, very relaxing.
And also, I always use them, each one of the forks in your ears as well. So you'll sleep like a baby.
Really?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of auricular points within your ear, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And you'll feel it all through your entire body.
Auricular? What? We got to go back
like
to that.
pressure points.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Trying to keep it simple. I just got to make sure I understand.
So I could be using a fork by your ears, and you could literally feel it in your toes.
Yeah.
So it just travels.
So interesting.
So coming back to, what about somebody dealing with depression even?
Of course, like I said, I go through all the chakras, and there's certain forks for that.
And so you would end up applying those to what parts of the body? Like, would it be depression? Would it be head?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so
there's so many to remember, but I'm pretty sure that it's your heart chakra, your throat chakra, and your crown.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. All right.
I have a whole list, so
it's
each
like
one
a recipe.
Has tons of different ones.
It's a recipe book.
Yeah, it's hard for me to remember all of them.
Absolutely. Yes. And we're just throwing questions at you. So
left, right, and center. What are your future plans, Anita?
Well, actually, my husband and I are planning hopefully one day. Well, I'm going to say one day.
Yes,
because
positive.
I'm manifesting that.
Yes, you are.
To develop a spiritual holistic healing retreat on our property. We have a huge property. It's 125 acres, so it overlooks the ocean.
Oh, my.
And it's 300 feet above sea level, so it's really beautiful there.
Oh,
so
how beautiful
that's my
that
plan.
would be. Yeah.
I'd love to see a picture.
And I think what happens is when we're in the spirituality world, we all have a dream, don't we?
Right.
And I think it's important for everybody to have a dream, to set a
Gosh,
goal.
you have to.
And, you know, one of the things I often say to my clients is, let's go boom, 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 boom. Where are you in 5 years from now? And that's what helps to manifest that 5 years.
And you'll only have regrets if you keep putting something off that you wanted to do for so long, too.
I agree.
I had the privilege the other day to speak to a group through the Older, Wiser Labor Force Project. And here are folks between 55 and 64, and they've been unemployed through circumstances. You know how it's been going. The older folks tend to get laid off. Anyway, it is a fabulous program, but it was so interesting to talk to these people who had so many great skills and had successful careers, but they're at this point in their life, and they're really, really struggling with follow your passion or do what you've always done. And we spent a lot of time just talking about if you know what your passion is and just work on that passion, one thing a day.
Yeah, just one little thing.
Just that can make all the difference. So
bring you a bit closer.
Very, very interesting, and it'll be interesting to see how that works out for them.
And part of that indecision can come back to blocked chakras.
Ah.
A lot of that blocked chakra, I mean, I can think of the root chakra, you know, the morals and so on, and so on. So even tuning fork therapy could work on helping them make that decision. Obviously, there's a lot of fear that goes along with it.
Right.
So tuning fork can you know, balance that out.
It is so worth it. It's not like it's painful or intrusive. I mean, it's just nothing but relaxing. So we really hope that by having this discussion today, that we've changed some people's minds and that they will take it upon themselves to make an appointment. And again, those testimonials are powerful. We've had everything from a lump in a breast to serious back pain, excruciating actually, and then you've had mastitis, and then and migraines. I mean, those are common issues for a lot of people,
especially back pain.
Oh gosh!
Even if people are just feeling okay, how about feeling better?
Yes, it's always better to feel better. So I'm going to repeat your contact information. Anita Baker, her website is theloftsalon.ca. Email is acb@eastlink.ca. Telephone number is 902-889-3112. Thank you so much, Anita. We really appreciate your time. And we will make sure we take a picture of this so that we can let folks know what it looks like. Now, I have a few things that we need to talk about. And firstly, let's start with next week. We have our special guest who had appeared before, Dr. Froni Leroy.
She'll be back.
She's
been
coming
to China
back
since we talked to her last too.
And amazing pictures that she's been posting for people to sort of follow her journey. It is going to be all about children. Could there perhaps be another reason for ADHD and ADD diagnosis? Now, we know that this is such a common thing in this day and age.
Especially now.
Just about everyone knows someone who has been diagnosed with that. So Dr. Froni Leroy is going to be fabulous, and we're going to have a really great conversation, and very knowledgeable woman, so I'm sure we'll learn a lot. We sort of dropped a little carrot last week about an event that we were planning to have coming up. For those who've been following us, June 1st will be our 1 year since we've started The Magic in You, and we wanted to do something special. So we're putting together an fun event, and it will be taking place June the 5th from 2 to 6 p.m. Now, that's going to take place at the Armdale Yacht Club, and it is going to be a spectacular time. We are calling it Celebrate the Magic in You. We will have Karen Forrest, the Angel Lady, and she's a Canadian best-selling author of Angels of the Maritimes by Your Side and Canadian Angels by Your Side. Now, she will be there. You can purchase a book. She will autograph it for you, and you will receive a 2-minute angel reading. We are going to have information sessions on astrology with Holly, numerology with Ann Perry, aromatherapy with Alana Downey, and Body Talk Nova Scotia with Kelly Burry. We're going to have psychic readings with Karen DeVouge, Patty Atkinson, and Gloria Burbage. We're going to have free aura scans by Casaroma Wellness Center. There's going to be a workshop for Jill's Jewelry. There's going to be gemstones and crystals, door prizes, refreshments, surprises, and on top of it, net proceeds is going to cystic fibrosis.
It will be an amazing event.
I have to tell you, $25, limited tickets, but $25 will enable you access to all of that, and it proves to be a wonderful afternoon. Now, I must say, yesterday was a great day. Ended up getting a very well-renowned Canadian musician. His name is Christian Nadon, and he is amazing with jazz and pop. It's just so beautiful in the background. So that will be serenading us. We don't want to give everything away, but I just wanted you to know that that is coming up. Tomorrow, tickets will go on sale, and as I mentioned, limited tickets. Seriously, no more than 120 people can attend this event. We want to thank potential sponsors, and as I said, all proceeds are going to go to CF.
An amazing event. We look forward to everyone being there and helping us celebrate this 1-year anniversary.
And, you know, you can leave there with a lot more information about yourself, and which can only benefit you.
And come and drop by to say hello. We are the ones that talk all the time. Be nice to have faces on the other side of the radio dial to come and say hi.
It really would. So again, that event coming up, and we'll be posting all the information. I want to thank our sponsor, Body Talk Nova Scotia. Many, many thanks for all that you do for us. And a quote going out today. There is something in every one of you that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in yourself. It is the only true guide you will ever have. And if you cannot hear it, you will all of your life spend your days on the ends of strings that somebody else pulls. That wonderful quote is by Howard Thurman. Until next week, remember, we all have the magic within us to create the reality we desire. Take care.
The Magic of You is a production of Voice Waves Atlantic.